Okay, it looks like we will keep having people trickle in here on the webinar, but we appreciate everyone taking time out of your day today to join us, and we'll begin our webinar series today. Before we begin, we want to express our solidarity from Jolt to the trampoline park industry for how for how COVID-19 has recently impacted business, but we echo the voices of the industry experts that we'll get through this and we'll be better and stronger afterwards. So we thank you for joining today's discussion. And today we are going to be identifying why consumer confidence should be a key part of your reopening strategy and provide you with some practical solutions to address this concern. A few housekeeping items before we begin, just so everybody's aware. Today's webinar is being recorded, so we will send any attendees and those who may have missed the webinar a copy of today's presentation. And please remember that due to the number of attendees, all lines will be muted. And at the conclusion of our presentation, we'll be conducting a Q&A session, so stay tuned for the end for that, and as well as use the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen to submit any questions you have so we can field those as they come in. We'll be dedicating that time at the end of our session to answer any questions. And by way of introduction, my name is Jay Jensen. I'm the Inside Sales Manager for Jolt, and I've been with the company for nearly 4 years and enjoy navigating today's biggest challenges and helping find solutions for the entertainment industry. I'll be hosting today's webinar and we'll be joined by Erin Miller, who is our Jolt Solution Expert and Customer Success Manager. Erin's been with Jolt for about 3 years and is managing our trampoline park division across the globe and is passionate about making our customers' lives easier. And Erin and myself, we are pleased to introduce Erin Davis and Blake Ann from Big Air, who will also be joining in today's discussion. Erin joins Big Air with experience that's second to none in safety, training, and protocol. She's managed the medical team at Wild Rivers Water Park for nearly a decade. Erin led a team that established the park as an industry leader in safety, and after that, Erin worked in the safety training at multiple organizations, including a recent tenure at a division of McKesson. Prior to that, prior to joining the Big Air franchising team, Erin held the position of general manager at Big Air Park, where she led the team to several record high years. Erin now works to provide unparalleled support to Big Air franchisees with focus areas in park design, operations, and safety protocol. Blake Ann has been with the entertainment industry since she graduated high school in 2012, starting back at Splash Kingdom, also known as Pharaohs in Redlands. She managed the camp program as well as the operations department for over 3 years, then becoming the assistant general manager at Big Air Park in 2018. And as of 2019 in October, Blake started full-time as the franchisee support consultant for the franchise team. So thanks, Blake and Erin, for joining us today. We're really excited to have you both on. And really quick, before we get into discussion, just a little bit about Jolt. Jolt is the premier global task management software. So for many of you may have heard of us already. For many of you, this may be completely new. So to give you an idea, we have a strong domestic and global footprint, and we're seeing strong demand and growth in our product. Our features, our multi-feature platform includes an easy customizable form and checklist builder, which you can see displayed on the screen here. It's moving your operation away from papers is kind of our goal, going digital. And so our app allows you to run your business from a phone or a tablet where you can complete necessary tasks using name, date, and timestamp verification. Jolt allows you to validate work how you want, the way you want it visible, and give you remote visibility and increased accountability. It does include a training hub, enabling your employees with instant on-the-job information, outlining correct procedures, and other vital informational aid. In addition to our task management, our suite of products also include a robust time and attendance module, scheduling platform, and performance measurement tool with a pre-built and customizable reports. So this allows you to drill down for corrective action measures. And we'll be hearing more from Blake and Erin about how they've used Jolt in their operation here shortly. Over the last 5 to 10 years, we've been working with some of the top global companies some of which are listed here to provide them with quality results. We're working with customers in over 55 countries and have helped our customers complete over 1 billion tasks using our system. So Jolt has become synonymous with world-class support and customer service for those using our platform. So let's kick off our discussion that we plan to talk about some of the reopening strategies you should be taking, and I guess to kick off our conversation or discussion, some of the challenges imposed on us in today's world. First is government agencies across various countries and states have been rolling out new legislation that is constantly evolving. This requires you to be more adaptable. And so I think to introduce Erin into the conversation, Erin, what are you seeing and what are the headaches that this has caused for your business?
Well, thank you so much for having us. We're excited and we've used Jolt for many years. And so we're a big proponent of the software. So having parks nationwide, one of our biggest struggles is just the change. Government is releasing, whether it's executive orders or recommendations and guidelines, it's trying to understand what is needed in each of those areas. How can we comply with those? And sometimes there's not much detail. It's kind of vague. So we're always learning and adapting and trying to make sure what we're doing in each area. And even within an area, things can vary drastically county to county.
And with that being said, I mean, we have parks all over kind of the world. I would say is we have them in different states. So not every state is the same. Orange County is a little bit more strict than say our Southern California parks. So this is where it kind of gets into the different people and the different groups that we see. I mean, if someone's wearing a mask in California, that's normal, whereas if you're somewhere else, they're like, oh, well, why are you doing that? So it depends on where you are and kind of the shame aspect of it. I mean, we see a lot of mom shaming when it comes to out in Southern California, especially if you're somewhere without a mask. So that plays a really big role in our facilities, at least.
Yeah, and thanks for the insight there. I mean, you mentioned, you're managing different franchisees across several state lines, and then within several different counties, there might be even different, legislation there. I mean, we have people joining today's webinar, potentially across the globe. So navigating these changes and even having to do that across different state lines and county lines poses some serious challenges where you are required to be more adaptable. And so I guess maybe just briefly tell us with Jolt, we introduced some of our product lines and the features that we have. What have been some of the ways that Jolt has helped you navigate those types of challenges?
The checklists and kind of the stuff that you guys have presented within Jolt for this, the employee temperature checks, the cleaning modules. I mean, you can print out QR codes and barcodes or take pictures of what you're cleaning, where you're cleaning, and scan a barcode to make sure it is getting clean. So I know that's really held our managers accountable, and across the board, it's been really helpful just in showing. When you see someone walking around with an iPad, taking pictures or videos of something, you kind of know that it's important. And then on top of that, we have our cleaning supplies everywhere as well to ensure that cleanliness and to show people that we're cleaning. So being able to use Jolt in that matter, following a checklist, being able to add things to that checklist and kind of make it specific to each park, I think has been really important and really helpful.
Fantastic. We'll be diving in with Ammon here in a minute to see what those checklists look like. We have a couple of examples as well in terms of what types of checklists that you've used in your in your setup that you've used with Jolt. But you mentioned social shaming in California, and that you've noticed, as you say, hey, every geographic area is a little different, and I think we can all sense that there's a culture of social shaming that's been becoming more and more prevalent with social media outlets, as you can see on the right here. This is an example from, I think it's early April, but we can see in this review on the right side, is this customer went to a particular business and their employees weren't wearing any kind of masks. And so they quickly used social media to notify their community, this isn't a place that's safe to attend. And really what they're saying, that's what they're saying is, this isn't safe by mentioning something like this. So you'll see not only will, you may be feeling that from, the physical presence, but this is a way that it can really impact business if people aren't, following, protocol and public shaming via online social media platforms is definitely, one of those things. So another thing we are noticing in several industries right now is customers are really, they're less likely to attend or visit a business due to the fact that they don't know how well procedures are being followed. So the lack of visibility or seeing something like this is going to potentially prevent them from going back and seeing your park. Blake and Erin, have you seen any other challenges that you've had to navigate due to the environment of COVID? Any additional challenges you guys have noticed?
Well, I think this is one of the things that is in all industries right now is just also communication. When people are wearing masks and trying to be social distanced and you're trying to enforce everything, what became a very guest focused and trying to engage so that we could make a positive guest experience is now being affected by all of these new requirements. And so we're trying to still make sure that we have that engagement while following all of the new recommendations.
And I think going off of what Erin said, I mean, the mask, if you've worn a mask and been somewhere that has masks, it's really hard to communicate and have that engagement, especially in an FEC. I mean, we're a trampoline park and we're all about smiles and being excited. And so we're having to retrain people to smile with their eyes and be over the top with hand gestures and facial expressions so that way our guests know that we're engaging with them and that we're kind of still there for them, still excited that they're there. So I think that's been pretty challenging as well.
Yeah, interesting. So with the new training, so obviously navigating new protocol procedures, but adapting to a new way of interacting with your customers and a new way to train your employees so that your customers still have the top customer experience that you hope for. So that's fantastic. I think onto just this next slide here. How technology can create trust. And we believe that when there is transparency from a customer into how things are getting done at the store level, your customers will start to trust your business more. So Eamon, why don't we turn some time over to you so you can introduce some of the ideas and solutions we've been working on with our customers that create more trust through this technology.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Excited to talk to all of you today. So in my job in customer success, I mean, the name implies it. My goal is to help you all to be successful. So as you work with Jolt, we'll introduce these tools to you. So first of all, we have our digital checklists. So you'll be able to work on these checklists throughout the day, and you'll work with your customer success manager like me to help customize this content. So we'll determine what are your priorities, what are the, maybe you have paper checklists that we're going to work into turning these into digital. And as we work with you, we'll determine what are the best solutions within checklists to increase accountability and to build that trust with your customers. One thing that was mentioned earlier is that when your customers see you working on these checklists, they know that this is something that's important to you. You'll see here we have QR codes for location verification. This is something that Blake and Erin have included in their checklists so that you can have your employees go to a specific location within your park, and they have to scan a QR code to verify that they've gone to that right location. We can have photos that verify that they're going to those locations as well, and they can show their work to make sure that everything is being properly sanitized. Once these lists are completed, I'll help you set up notifications via email or text so that you can keep up to date at what's going on in your parks, even if you're not there. If there's an issue, you can contact the appropriate managers to take care of those issues. Go on to the next slide. We have, in this time of this pandemic, it's been a fun and interesting challenge for us to make sure that we are keeping up to date in providing the best solutions for you. So in a short amount of time, we have developed a digital dashboard that you can share with your customers so that they can see not only as your employees are walking around completing these checklists, but right when they walk in and they're signing their waivers, they can see, okay, we have worked on sanitizing the front desk or the rock wall, and they can see how often you are doing this. So we can work on together customizing this dashboard for you so that the most important areas that your customers need to know about will be covered and will be shared. So for example, you see here, front desk, rock wall, kids play area, ball pit. These are things that, you know, as they're walking around, they want to know, you know, are these being sanitized? And we'll help share that with you.
And Anna, if you don't mind,
yeah,
I think
go ahead.
one of the best things about Jolt, in my opinion, is that it timestamps everything and when everything was done and who that person was that did it. So you're able to go back and people are able to see that, okay, it's being done every half an hour because of that timestamp, and kind of holding that accountability. I think that's one of my favorite things, is that specific thing.
Exactly. So not only are you sharing this with your customers, but that information is shared with you so that you can see, okay, exactly at this time, Ammon completed this checklist and maybe it wasn't done properly, so I can go and address Ammon before this gets to be a bigger issue. So thank you for that. Let's go on to the next slide. So we have wellness checks. This is also something that we have gotten to be experts on in a short amount of time. We have templates available for you for your wellness checks so that you can be following up with your employees each day, and we can customize these to your specific government guidelines so that everything is covered. You have these on records, and if you ever need to pull up the records of wellness checks, you can pull those up on your iPad, on your phone, or on your computer at any time and share them as necessary. Let's go on to the next slide. Perfect. So here's a picture of an employee in action completing a Jolt checklist. So we have this employee right here. He's scanning a QR code so that, again, we can make sure that he's in the right location performing these tasks correctly. We have, as it says here, we have digital logbooks. So if there's any extra notes that we need to take, then we can have those notes attached. We can take additional photos and videos so that you have all the context you need as you're looking at your list reports. Blake and Erin, I don't know if you guys have anything to add on this and what you've experienced in your stores or your parks.
This highlights something that our legal counsel really loves about Jolt, is the fact that we've done manual checklists for years. I mean, in running the water park that was in operation for over 3 decades, we were part of the compliance that there was a lot of high profile injuries. And so the California, specifically state, came over and now has a oversight of any amusement parks and water parks. So we had to learn how to adapt to that. So checklists and kind of safety stuff is not new to us. So what we love about Jolt, though, is I'm not taking a piece of paper. I'm actually taking a QR code that's been scanned, that if there is an issue on an attraction, we take a picture and it goes into that digital logbook. We can then make any necessary maintenance things that are needed, whether it's we need to add some springs or we need to tighten a couple bungees. And we can also take a picture or make a note and document when it's been fixed. So all of this is time-stamped, it's recorded, it can't be edited. And it now, not only am I showing in a court of law or to a legal counsel my procedures, but I'm also showing them how we're doing it. And I have proof we actually did it and not just a piece of paper that has a bunch of check marks on it.
And going off of that, I think it also shows something. A piece of paper can always be changed at any time. Whereas in Jolt, you can't, once it's been submitted, there's no going back and changing that unless you have that admin access, which I have admin access and that's it. I mean, no one can go in and mess with something that's already been done or kind of modify that. It's all saved and all put in logbook. So it's saved forever, essentially.
Thanks. And one thing to point out, and I'm going to get to a demo here in just a second, but along those same lines, we not only stamp when the timestamp when the whole list is completed, but you'll see the timestamp of each individual item. So if you have a checklist that includes several attractions, you'll see when each of those attractions were reviewed. So it's going to be very detailed, and you'll see what person completed each one.
And my favorite is that when it doesn't get done or completed by a certain time, emails start getting sent that says this list is now overdue. Mm-hmm. So if I require that my safety inspection is done every morning before we open, the minute those doors open and I know what time my schedule is, we start getting notified. So if for some reason the manager on site hasn't completed that, we can follow up before it's days that have gone by without having a safety inspection done.
And it's just holding people accountable. I mean, I was in Georgia and I got a notification and I was able to call them and say, why wasn't this done before our park opened? And it's as simple as, oh, I forgot, or, oh, I didn't sweep it. And it's like, okay, well, now we can we're able to hold it accountable even when we're not in the park. And it gives that the managers and just owners kind of that comforting feeling of having that.
Great points. Thank you. Let's move on to the next slide. So now I want to take us to the point. You'll see all the different features that we have here. But I'm going to start sharing my screen here and take you through what it would look like to fill out a checklist through Jolt. So I have an iPad simulator here that I'm going to open up for you. And Blake and Erin have been kind enough to let me share some of the lists that they've built out. So we're going to look at some real-life examples here. So you'll see I have Jolt on my iPad. I have the list selected, and I'm currently logged in as Blake on one of their locations. And you'll see on my left-hand side are the checklists that have appeared for me. So I could click through each of these and work on these checklists. But some of the ones that I wanted to highlight today were the daily inspection, an opening checklist, and an incident report. So there's different types of lists that we can fill out. So I'm going to start here with the daily inspection. So you'll notice that we have one of the attractions here, the Battle Beam, and there's a QR code attached. So it says scan QR code. So I would just tap on this QR code, and it would open up the camera on the device for me to scan that, and then it would be checked off. Now, unfortunately for this example, I'm not using a real iPad, so it won't let me use the camera. But let's move on to the next one here. We have safety signs visible at entrance. It says make a selection. So in this case, it's a multiple choice option. And I can choose, is this okay or does it need attention? Let's select it's okay. Let's say everything's looking good. You'll notice that when I select that option, now it's going to stamp it with the name of the employee, the date that I completed it, and then the time that I completed that specific item. Once that is selected, I can submit that item, and then it will remove it from my list, and I can just focus on what I still need to complete. So we could have different people logging in and working on the same checklist together, or if just one person wants to work on it, then they can continue to go through the rest of these items. Now we'll see there's different headings for different sections, so now we have basketball and so on. Of course, we have other item types. Sorry, did we have a
Nope.
comment there?
Nope.
Okay, sorry. Next, I wanted to take through a more simple opening checklist here. On this list, we have some simple check marks. So you'll see we have the different item types. We had the QR code, we had the multiple choice, and now here's a simple check mark. Again, it will stamp these as I go along, and I can submit those items. If I needed to add some more context to a checklist that I'm working on, for example, if this court inspection, I need to leave some more notes on this, Then I can click on the dots on this item and add a logbook entry. If I add an entry, I can leave some comments saying maybe maintenance needed. And then if I need to add a video or a photo, I can take that as well. If I need to flag it, then it's going to send that flag to any logbook admins, and then they can address that issue as needed and resolve that. How are some of the ways that you use the logbook, Blake and Erin? Just want to give a little bit more context there.
That's definitely how we use it mostly for our inspection. With that, it's any maintenance requests, any kind of things that they saw in the inspection that don't look kind of all together. So I've added a third option on our inspection sheet. So it's okay, needs attention, and do not operate. So they're able to have that as well. So the logbook we use mainly for inspections and kind of taking pictures or videos of where a trampoline was ripped, or if we needed to redo padding or something of that nature. That's where we utilize it the most.
Perfect, thank you. Now, we've taken a look so far at some checklists that would be on a repeated schedule. Like for an opening checklist, that would probably need to be done every single day, or your daily inspection. The name right there implies that it's done every single day. But there may also be some checklists that are not on a schedule, such as an incident report. And that's a big one for our FEC and trampoline park customers. We want to make sure that we have that incident report ready to go. So in this case, we can have a list that we only pull up as needed, like this incident report, and we can start filling in this information. So you see here at the top, we have first aid information report, and we have a short answer option right here. If I tap on that short answer, I can start typing in my name, and then that will be included on my report. Now, the nice thing with incident reports is we have notifications that can go out, and as Blake and Erin said, we can have notifications go out if the list is late, but in the case of an incident report, we could set it up so every single time this is filled out, it's sent directly to your legal team. So it takes some extra steps away from you, so you can save more time. So we can fill all this appropriate information that we would need in this incident report, and as soon as it's submitted, then the legal team will get all the information that they need to take any next steps.
So just to highlight what I really like on this incident report, and that's been helpful, is that we have added where you're taking a picture of the attraction as it happened. And so we know if we're filling out this incident report right around the time that the incident took place, that you've seen, it will timestamp when that photo was taken. So if for some reason 6 months from now they're saying my foam pit levels weren't adequate at that moment, yes, video can be helpful and it's needed, but there's also the fact that we took a photo of what the attraction looked like right after the incident. And so it just makes it, especially if they're trying to say there was maintenance that needed to be done or something was in a state of disrepair, we can kind of prove that that wasn't the case and everything's timestamped. So they can't say we took that photo at a later date.
Thank you. Yes. And on that topic, another nice thing here is you can track exactly where the injury took place, and then you'll have a full set of records of all of your incident reports. So if you need to go to, for example, your insurance company and show them that you've demonstrably reduced injuries or any incidents in a specific attraction, then that will help you save on your insurance as well. So there's lots of ways that incident reports like this will help you in the long run and help you save money. So those are some of the main examples that we have. So I can go ahead and pass the presenting back to you, Jay.
Yeah, and Ammon, I appreciate you taking the time to dive in a little bit to the product and what it actually looks like. Some real life examples of Blake and Erin, what they've been doing with their business. But yeah, I mean, I think it's really relevant to also bring up the point that with a very volatile environment with rapidly changing regulations, like we've talked about, your ability to update a form or a checklist or change your workflow and the things that are most important. For example, sanitization, the frequency of which you have to do that now is so much more frequent. So the ability to easily change and customize your forms, checklists, procedures can all be done from one central location on the back end, simply from your home, instead of trying to roll out new printed copies and manuals and redistribute them to one location or the other. So it really streamlines any changes really instantaneously. And so you can adapt to to that environment. And so and I'm sure Erin, Blake, as you mentioned before, that's been what's helping you get through this in terms of adjusting quickly. So one of the things we want to do, and we thank Blake and Erin for all your insight, Ammon for taking the time to walk us through that, but we do want to get to our Q&A session here. And although we have kind of hit our time, we are more than flexible to take as much time as you need to answer questions, potentially then get back into the simulator if needed to answer those questions. So with that, Britton, I think Britton has any of the questions that have been coming in. Britton, go ahead and you can ask those questions and we'll field them as they come in.
Yeah, so this is a great question for the Jolt team as well as Blake and Erin. What was it like getting your managers and employees to buy in?
It was honestly, it was very easy when we kind of explained to them, they didn't really have a choice.
I mean, at the end of the day, I told them, I said, you're going to use it because I'm taking away all the paper. And if it's not done, like I'm going to get that notification and there are going to be consequences to not doing it. Like this is something that's so important. And I think once I explained the why of when we switched over to Jolt and kind of walked everyone through and explained how it worked, they were much more open to it. I think explaining the why was the biggest thing. And then they realized, oh, this makes sense. I understand why we're doing what we're doing. And so I think that was the most important thing. But there were some that were resistant, like, no, we've always done it this way. And I'm like, well, I'm taking it away. So you got to pick one. And this is the one we're doing. So it definitely, there were some that were a little more open to it. But once they really saw the benefits of it being timestamped and getting those emails, it made it just so much easier, especially from an ownership standpoint. I mean, now the owners can, take a day off and get those notifications without having to worry about, well, is there an incident? Oh, did my daily inspections get done? Because now it's just going straight to their email.
Yes, and on my end, I would say, please use your customer success manager to help your team buy in as well. With your Jolt subscription, our trainings are included in that. So we want to be available as customer success managers to help you get your team to buy in. So if that means one-on-ones with all of your managers to help them feel more comfortable with the technology, we want to help you with that. So please utilize us to help them buy in.
And that's a great transition to the next question here for you, Ammon. What's the implementation process like, and how long did it take?
So what I do when we have a new customer, we'll do a kickoff call with you to go over all the general admin setup. And that usually takes, we'll send you some first steps once you register with us and some guides. And there's a few things we'll ask you to take care of our first kickoff. But if anything is missing or I can help you with anything, we do that on the first call. I'll walk through how to get things set up with you. And then we'll continue to have follow-ups over the next few weeks to make sure that you are able to use correctly, all your devices are connected. So really, you should be able to get up and running within two or three trainings. A lot of times, though, even after the first training, we can get you rolling on that first day.
All right, awesome. This next question is kind of more for Blake and Erin, a continuation of the first question. Now that your employees have had time with Jolt, how have they responded to using Jolt?
I don't think there's been any resistance. I think especially when now we've been using it for so many years, as we go and open a new park or do different things, there's no question that this is just how it's done. I think all of the owners seem really excited about it and love all the capabilities, because they can even customize if they want to do additional cleaning at the end of the night task list. They love the fact that if there's an area, everybody has their pet peeve, but if you want a bathroom cleaned to a certain standard and an employee has to actually take a picture of that bathroom to submit to you, you can almost guarantee it's going to be clean the way you want. And when everybody's keeping and upholding the same standard, it makes it really easy for everybody to get the same buy-in.
And I would agree. I mean, with that being said, everyone is just so excited about the fact that we have this for them and we're doing this for them. I mean, they want to be safe and they want their employees and their staff to feel, their employees and their guests to feel safe. So we haven't had any pushback on the new parks or anything of that nature. It's always been just excited and open to learning. And a lot of it has been, they want to add things to it. They want to add their own twist on things, because I mean, we make things park specific as well. So they're mostly excited about customizing Jolt to their specific park as well.
Yeah, and just in general, employees seem to be more engaged with digital technology versus paper.
And I think
Real quick, your headset seems to be glitching.
Sorry about that. Hang on.
Well, and just to kind of go along with that, so we as the franchisor, we actually pay for Jolt. That's how high we find its relevance and value. And so this is a tool that we have put so much behind and continue to figure out new ways that we can utilize it in our parks. And so us coming in with that and saying this is that important, it really helps.
I mean, going along with that, if we're talking incident reports as well, I mean, Jolt has the storage and we upload our incident videos to Jolt as well. And so now it's all in one central location and we know that it's safe and it goes our incident reports. So I think that's really valuable. And I know that our team sees that. I mean, I talked to one of our parks today and he's like, oh yeah, I uploaded a video to Jolt and it was really easy and it was exciting. And I was like, that made me feel good because they see just as much value in having that as we do.
Perfect. Thanks for your guys' answers. Another question just came in. What are the costs for setup and training, ongoing costs, contracts, etc.? I'll shoot that over to Jay and Ammon.
Yeah, thanks, Britton. So we, ideally what we like to do, we do work with an agreement, and so there's a 12-month agreement minimum that we do work with our customers with. There is an ongoing subscription cost, and that subscription cost, as I think it was Erin or Blake was just mentioning, the ongoing costs, it is a monthly subscription. And it will vary based off of different packages that we do offer. Ideally, what we like to do is hop on a brief webinar or demo to give you a custom quote so you can see exactly based off of the modules that make sense for your business on where that pricing would land. But in terms of from on our end, we look at it this way, as kind of like Blake and Erin was saying. We look at this, and if this isn't there to help improve or make your business money, saving you time, labor, avoiding potential incidents and things like that, then it's not worth your business. But what we have found, this is something that's more than going to be worth your investment. So I think a brief demo, personalized demo that we can set up after this will get you a custom quote to review what our setup cost and subscription looks like.
Okay, perfect. And the last question here, how do I learn more? Kind of what are the next steps for us? Jay, you want to talk a little bit more about that? But here is the information for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. So as mentioned, to get onto a personalized demo, you can reach us at sales@jolt.com. So send us an email there, or feel free to call. Even if you're looking at whether it is a brief demo or just questions, you can call us at that 877-396-4112. Our extension is extension 2 that you can reach us there. So this is the best way to get in touch with us. And obviously, we want to thank again everybody for participating. Huge thanks to Erin and Blake for taking time out of your busy schedules to meet with us, and each of you for attending. So thank you so much. Very insightful thoughts and best practices.
Before we get off, I know, Brandon, you can't see this question, so I'll go ahead and read it for you because, well, I don't know how to copy it over. But Erin, this question's for you. It's regards to the California reopening guidelines. We were informed by the County of San Diego that per California state guidelines, all trampoline parks are considered indoor playgrounds, not FECs, and weren't allowed to open under the Family Entertainment Center guidelines published on June 8th. Indoor playgrounds were never slated to open under any current or recently released guidelines. Now that we've been notified, we are told that if we do open in 3 weeks or whenever FECs are allowed to open, we would be subject to police jurisdiction. Along these new lines, how will our Jolt subscription work with us when we're forced to stay closed and stay closed during circumstances beyond our control? I think that would be a great, I mean, you guys really worked with us when we had to be closed for those few months. So, I mean, if you guys want to take this one, I think that's a really good question and really insightful, because I think you guys were probably the best people that I've worked with when we had to close and we couldn't use it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is a great question. We understand that the last couple of months have been very challenging, and we are more than happy to work with our customers, find a solution that makes sense for your business. And yes, we're more than happy to work with you so that you're not stuck sitting on a contract and paying. What we want to do is find a solution that works, and we are willing to work with you, as we do with Big Air and several of our customers. But on that note, from a lot of what we're gathering and learning, Jolts, from what we've seen as well, is it is good to have this in place and to fine tune some of your procedures to prepare for that reopening. So if you haven't already got started using the platform, I highly recommend taking a look at it so we can help you navigate through what's the best recommended protocol. We've put together, in conjunction with a lot of our customers and CDC guidelines, a package of recommended procedures, and we'd be more than happy to share some of those things with you into your account as well. So great question, and we can definitely talk more in person about that. As we mentioned here, we look forward to either potentially joining on a future demonstration, either potentially at a future show, or just connecting via phone. So once again, thanks everyone for attending, participating. I think that about wraps up all the questions, and we will let you all get back to your busy days and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much.